All right, why it's fresh on my mind. I don't look good anymore. I will look better someday. I tried to do the eyebrows. I wish I wouldn't have. Okay. The man, when I'm facing him to the right, he looked all right, but no, they're not. Um, the guy I was dealing with was giving me such an obvious, for show, rodeo circus, hard time. The guy next to him said, because I pick up on this, I'm from the block, sort of urbanic analogy. He said, quote unquote, verbatim, get ya taken out. Get ya taken out. I picked up on that fast. I'm like, why is this guy talking like a fucking corner gang member? I'm in the DMV to the guy who's giving me such a hard time. This is getting weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder in here. After the guy said that to the guy who was giving me a hard time, who was sitting right next to him, Mr. got all fucking nice and polite. Like that. My green lights come in really handy for this shit. My green lights where he was not on my side. No, he was gangster. Gave me a lot of insight. The guy giving me a hard time was making it so obvious he was blowing up their spot. Give her the fucking ID. Get her the fuck out of here. My guidance before, I don't put everything online, was that they want me the fuck out of DC. A lot of these folks now do. My face is all broke out. Let's not look at me right now and that. Please, I'll look better another day. They want me out of DC. They don't want me here anymore. In synopsis, okay? So there was no more of this refuse her an ID. What the guy was doing was just his own accord. It's a heinous noise here, and I don't want to scream over a sound machine. He was just going after me. This is what they do. It's what they're supposed to do. He looked like he was young, probably North African. He's American, probably second generation. He's in his early 30s, late 20s, but he was definitely North African. So we know what's going on. And we know I'm in Southeast DC. I don't need to tell the feds this shit. All right. That guy was so happy that I was about to start crying. He was feeling so good, so fucking proud and good. All right, just take my word for it. Or do you want me to do a whole argument of all his behavior to give this validity? Just take my word for it. He was a bastard. He didn't want to give me no ID, and he was going to make sure that I walked out of there in tears, wasted cab fare, all by myself, with, again, no ID. But it wasn't ordered and obvious like Georgetown. Then the guy next to him said, get you taken out. He's talking like a fucking gang member in the DMV to the coworker next to him. And then like that, the guy just got all kinds of polite, all kinds of fucking nice to me, and stopped giving me such a hard time. We'll see if I actually get the ID. I don't fucking believe it here. I don't believe it till I see it in DC. No one's going to argue that. I got the temporary ID. I'm like a law-abiding person. I don't think you can rent or do a lot without a real ID, dude. What I got will work because I got so much to back it up. This man, I knew they wanted envelopes. I'm not a fucking twat, dumb bitch. I got everything. You know, you can take my word for it. I don't need to argue with validity every fucking statement I make. I had everything that they require on that fucking website. I had the envelopes. I had everything. The fact that giving me such a hard time is serious business. This guy was just doing it on his own accord. He doesn't like me. I know why. I already fucking know why. I can't prove it. I got to prove it. We got to get him to admit it. You know, the legal stuff. But I already know why. When it came onto this account, I said I don't need a jury. I'm not here to prove nothing to a jury. And look, these folks always prove me right. So standing out of the Southeast DC DMV was a lot of schizoids on hard narcotics. I got really fucking nervous. It wasn't as bad at the time of the morning I was there as like certain parts of Harlem. I never did Bronx. I didn't. I only did the Italian market in the Bronx. What else can I equate this to? Certain parts of Brooklyn, right? Okay, yeah, because I went out to a really bad part of Brooklyn for a art project for my class in college. I was scared by the museum, the Brooklyn Art Museum. It was not as bad as that, but I could see it on a certain day getting kind of crazy like that in Southeast DC at the DC VMV in Southeast DC. So I was not enjoying having to stand out there in the cold, waiting for a fucking cab with schizoids and hard narcotics, and having dealt with that inside the DMV. When I came in, the woman who they send you, I'm not going to say all this to adults, sent me to the ticket to the guy, was just the same. She knew who I was. They know who I am. I had been standing out front of their building. They had a good time to figure it out since 7:48 a.m. My appointment was at 8:30. I stood out there. All right. She was so disrespectful, condescending. Do you want more words? People, can you lay off on the words and the adjectives right now for me? She was a fucking rat tramp. And what's going on my account and what I do just doesn't make sense, especially with Black people. I've always said that. Why are the Black people in DC hating on me like this? It's freaky. Well, I know why now after long enough. They're Islamists. This is serious goddamn business here. And the DMVs are their joint. And the guy sitting next to him, he looked African American. He looked American, light skinned, maybe Dominican or whatever, mixed whatever, okay? He didn't look like obvious by heritage and Northern African. Second generation, but American. They were all American citizens. By generation, by birth. In there. Well, from what I could assess, I'm not going to go, come on, okay? We're talking to adults. The noise here is phenomenal. There's construction in the same thing. I just don't want that sound machine on. I'm going to try to ignore it. It helps when I don't hear it in both ears. I think adults can understand why. So, why was this guy talking to him about getting taken out at a DMV? And why did the dude who was disrespecting me and making sure I didn't get an ID just suddenly all proper and nice? Yes, ma'am. Real nice. Okay, ma'am. Have a nice day, ma'am. All right, ma'am. All this shit. Let me make sure I got my, oh, this is just so fucking horrifying here. I know I have it, but I just like to double check because I am all by myself and I have motherfuckers in DC that just all want to fucking suck my blood. It does put a bitch sideways, I'll tell you. Yeah, I have it. I'm the fuck out of here. And this morning, that fucking woman, I don't talk about it for a reason. There's a reason. I ain't going to say the reason. This would be the only time I probably talk about it, unless I get the green light. All right. She had more people, one person. I don't care right now. As long as I could get out, my cats are safe, and I get my fucking something, some ID. Because I'm a law-abiding person. You need that shit, right, to rent? The fuck? The only difference with the DMV here was it wasn't ordered to refuse me any ID, or what they did was completely illegal in Georgetown. And this guy gave me such a hard time that the dude next to him had to threaten that he'd get taken out by the gangs. All right? Why is a guy talking like that? You get taken out. He did. He said it just like that. You're going to get taken out. It was street gang fucking slang. I pick up on that shit fast. That's what happened in there. And then he's like, oh, nice. Oh, fucking super sweet to me. All right. I'm kind of bouncing around because I'm a little upset. But the only difference in this Southeast DC DMV was that it wasn't ordered. So I said, well, okay, if I can't get a driver's license, because don't forget, he had refused me that too. He was trying to make it so I couldn't even get an ID either until his coworker threatened to take him out. And it wasn't for me to be supportive of me. That's where my green lights come in real handy. Nobody in there liked me. It was gang activity. Big green light, yes, on that. He wasn't sticking up for me. And I wouldn't want someone to say or speak like that, but it was what they're doing in there. He's blowing up the spot. It's too late now. Anyways, why it wasn't ordered. I want to get green lights on this, but this is what I logically as an adult can assess, was because after I had been refused again a driver's license, which was all bullshit, and I put it into written statement, that's exactly what happened. I'm not going to get stuck on that. We'll talk about it another time. I want to get through what happened. This is more important. We'll get back to the driver's license fucking bullshit another video. What the difference was I said to him, okay, well, I said verbatim, the purpose of me being here is to get some sort of identification. Okay, if I can't get a driver's license, I need to get an ID. He did not fight me on that. He did not say, no, and yell at the top of his lungs and run me out. That's what happened to Georgetown. It was highly illegal. I could have got a fucking ID then. Yep. All right. I'm going to put the music on, the sound machine on, whatever. Try to just make it so I don't hear this kind of crazy noise in here. These people are all kinds of criminal suspect in here. Nothing's changed. Guidance. I'll put this into writing because it is needed. Whatever the word, needed. The black people in D.C., what I witnessed at the DMV, most of them, like 70% of the customers in there are regular black people in Washington, D.C. There was this one gangster dumb bitch that looked like she's on meth, too skinny, all that, you know. But from the room at 8:30 in the morning, besides the staff that's criminal, and a few fucking scumbags that were staff, most of the citizens trying to get ID were nice. And my guidance was strong, and I am going to write this down. So it's written. It's very clear. This was my guidance in the cab. They are being held as much as a hostage by the Islamist jihadist in DC as you are being held by them, Heidi. Do you get it? This noise is insane here. Whoa. I've never been or seen anything like this. Fucking what they did to DC is just crying shame. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying is they're holding the jihadist Islamist in DC are so strong that they hold the rest of the black community in as much hostage, whatever, as me. The people in DC, let me get it over again. The black people in DC are held hostage in fear of the fucking jihadist here. The community, as much as I'm held hostage. All right, I'm going to put that on paper. I'm going to try to do it exactly the way Jesus guided me in the words, verbatim, my guidance, because that's what I saw. So the city's fucking going to hell. I'm making sure I do everything I can on a daily basis to send everybody who needs to go to hell, who lives here, to hell. I got ID. I'm getting the fuck out of this house and the fuck out of this city. All right, God bless America. Say goodbye.